each day. Whether we see them or not, doubt, fear, become our inner enemies. Let me ask you something. What is holding you back right now? What is stopping you from becoming the person you know you are capable of becoming? Most people point outward. They blame the job. The schedule battles are never outside of us. They are always inside. There are fear, laziness, arrogance, and distraction. And these enemies are silent. Announce their arrival. Peeping through your habits. They whisper through your thoughts. Comfort as even as realism, but make no mistake, these are the forces that weaken you. How do we fight back? The first step is awareness. If you cannot see the enemy, your own mind, this is how your thoughts react when you face difficulty. Notice what excuses appear when you don't feel like showing up. This is training. Not to suppress these inner enemies, but to understand them. Only through understanding can you transform them. Let's begin with doubt. Doubt says, I can't. But what it really means, to overcome doubt, you must. Even a small step silences that voice. Confidence is not something you are born with by doing what you thought you couldn't. It's fear. Fear of judgment. Fear of rejection. Fear of loss. But here is what fit. It's the mind going to the future instead of staying in the now. Breathe. Return to this moment. Power over you. The third end, it is about forgetting your purpose. When you remember why you began, your energy returns. Shaolin monks in the spirit. That discipline is the antidote to laziness. Then we have is the always remain a student, especially of yourself. The more you know, the more you understand action. Distraction steals your time, your focus, your life. You don't lose your path all at one click. One meaningless hour. One unconscious decision at a time. What is the goal of overcoming these enemies? It is not to become perfect. It is to become aware, disciplined, and present. You are responding with wisdom. When you are disciplined, you do not wait. And when you are aware, you do not fight blindly. You choose how the future is created, not through force, not through wishing, but through mastering this moment. Overcoming your inner enemies today shapes the person you become tomorrow. Every time you rise in the morning and choose discipline when others give in, every time you breathe through the fear instead of running from it, strength is not measured by how hard you hit, it is measured by how still you can read, how patient, how focused, and how deeply stand yourself. Because once you silence the enemy within, nothing left outside that can truly defeat you. So take this day, make it yours. Breathe deeply, walk calmly, and act with intention. Because the future you dream of is not far. It is forged today in this moment. Moment is yours. It never was. From the beginning, the greatest challenge, ones that made you hesitate, that made you feel stuck, whispered that you were not enough. It is easy to point the finger outward. It is easy to say, my environment is too difficult and path does not allow that of blame. It asks you to turn inward. It demands that you look into the mirror, mind, because the enemy you are fighting is not someone else's opinion of doubt. The voice in your head that says, you're too late. The fear you'll fail like last time. The laziness that you to skip. The hard this one. These voices do not belong to anyone else. Run from them, the more power they have over you. Once you stop running, once you sit with them, face them, you begin to see clearly. You begin to realize that these enemies has been learned can be unlearned. The enemy within is not to declare war on yourself. To move from unconscious reaction to conscious response. Because once you become aware of your inner obstacles, you become the observer, and the observer has comfort. It is a path of discipline, and discipline is often misunderstood. Punishment, rigidity, but true discipline is an act of compassion. It is saying to yourself, I care enough about who I can become that I will not give in to who I used to. As each morning with discipline, you are not doing something painful. You are doing something sacred. You are choosing to face the part of you that wants, and you are saying, not today. You are saying, I am more than my habits. I am more than my fears. Some days will be harder than others. The inner enemy does not give up quickly, or even self-care. Say, you deserve a break. It will say, this goal is... Those words is the same old pattern, the same fear to transformation. So what do? You stay, you breathe one step at a time. You may stumble. That is part of it. But each time you get up, the inner enemy becomes weaker. You've outgrown it. Remember, no one will ever fight you more than your own mind when you try to change. And not your competitors, not the opinions of strangers, expectations. Because once that is won, everything becomes simple. Not easy, but clear. This is the heart of the Shaolin way. You do not need your family or your circumstances. You need only to confront your inner patterns. When awareness to them, they begin to dissolve. You shift from surviving to living. Is not philosophy for monks alone. This is not a path reserved for temples and silence in the same breath. This one who wants to break a habit, to overcome fear, to live fully. The enemy you've been running from is tired too. It is waiting for you to stop and look it in the eyes. And when you do, you will see it was never there to destroy. It was there to test whether you were serious about becoming who you say you want to be. So don't run. Don't fight blindly. Breathe, understand, and then act. You are not here to defeat others. You are here to master yourself. That is that is where your judgment is not something that restricts you or suppresses your spirit. True discipline is an expression of self that you will not abandon your growth. Will not betray your potential. Many people misunderstand unless absolutely necessary. But in truth, discipline is a quiet your thoughts and your life. When you live without discipline, you hand your life over to impulses. You allow mood and convenience to dictate the path. But impulses do not build peace. They build chaos. They give pleasure in one moment and regret in the next. And when regret becomes a pattern, it's easier to sleep. You move your body even when your mind resists. You stay with difficult emotions instead because it feels good in the moment, but because it builds something better in the long term. This to respect yourself. To no longer live by accident. Not about denying yourself joy. It is about choosing a deeper kind of joy. The kind that comes from knowing you are aligned with your values. Comes from looking in the mirror and saying, I showed up. And let us be honest, some days you will not feel like showing up, uninspired, perhaps even hopeless. But that is exactly why, because on those days, you need something strong than motivation. Motivation is a mood. It comes and goes. Discipline is a commitment. It stays. If you wait for motivation to train to work, cultivate discipline, you take back control. You are no longer a slave of your actions. Think of the Shaolin monk who wakes before sunrise. He does not ask himself, today, he trains because training is part of his path. It is not optional of who he is. That is discipline. Not forcing but flowing with your higher intention. Even when your lower habits resist. And this is available to you. Every time you resist the temptation to numb yourself with distraction, you are afraid of reacting impulsively, practicing. Every time you say no to what is easy and yes to what is right, you are training your mind. Is this plain difficult? But the 10th time it feels natural. The more you repeat a conscious action, the more it becomes part. Eventually, what once felt like effort becomes your new normal, not through one dramatic act, but through small, consistent choices made with intention. You will stumble, you will fall, but even then, discipline is not lost. It lives in the choice to get back up. Self-respect, allowing yourself to fall, allowing yourself to stay down. To be disciplined is to live in alignment with what you say you want. If you say you want clarity, your day with noise, there is no alignment. If you say you want health, but ignore the needs of your body, there is no alignment. If you say you want peace, but feed yourself conflict, it brings your words, your values, and your actions in. And when that harmony exists, you stop needing to prove things to others. You walk your path not with anxiety, but with quiet confidence, because you know you are living integrity. Discipline frees you, even in chaos. Stay grounded even when emotions rise. To keep moving forward, and when the path is steep, it gives you access to a strength that is not shaken by external events. Do not picture suffering. Picture strength. Picture peace. Picture a life where you can trust yourself fully, where you do not consistently reflect your highest values, not restrict freedom, and that freedom is one disciplined day at a time. Mastery begins with awareness. Peace, growth, all of them begin with a simple moment of recognition, the moment you
There you go. No.